To advertise with us, donate sponsorships and suggestions, email us at trendafricatv@gmail.com or call us on 773-312-0318 or 773-756-6678. Remember to also follow and like us as Trend Africa TV on Facebook so you can always catch us live. On Instagram as Trend Africa TV 123 or subscribe to our YouTube channel as Trend Africa TV and click on the notification button to watch previous shows. You can also visit our website for your African news, entertainment, fashion and sports updates on www.trendafricaonline.net. Trend Africa TV, redefining Africa.
Hello, wonderful viewers out there. I salute you. I greet you, my cherished, wonderful viewers of Western Togoland Situation Room. I welcome you to today's edition of Western Togoland Situation Room. I want to remind you that you can also send me your thoughts through email, and I will read it on the show. I'll read it in the beginning of the show. You can also send it to me through my WhatsApp page. I will get it and I will also print it out and read it as some of you have done. A couple of our members, beloveds of Western Togoland, those who have been following the activities of People's Liberation Council, and some people who have been following the movement of Western Togoland Restoration, they have sent me a few thoughts and I would like to read them. And I want you to send me yours so that next time I can read yours as well. Today we'll be talking about the union of Western Togoland and Ghana. We understand that the United Nations received a letter, the Secretary General of United Nations received a letter in 1957 from the government of the United Kingdom saying that the union between Western Togoland and Ghana was actually effected. I don't know if it was effected. Today we'll find out if it is true or not, if the union was truly effected on 1957 or not. We'll find out. But before then, let me read what some of our followers sent to me. This is one from a Western Togoland citizen. I read. Dear presenter of Western Togoland Situation Room, I have a little reminder for our people back home to consider if they want to restore Western Togoland and foster the union as well. Restoration of human dignity is a cardinal point in PLC's advocacy for good governance. This requires of government and citizens to work collaboratively to effect programs that will portray a dignified way of life in all our activities. Our attitude towards the natural environment is no exception. If you cannot fulfill little demand of nature, your greater ambition will be equal to zero. This is why the People's Liberation Council of Western Togoland has, among other things, been tirelessly working to educate the public on the importance of managing the environment to the welfare of human beings as far and near. It is just unfortunate that people in government are blinded to PLC's good programs by just the name of Western Togoland. This ignorance has driven some officials to misuse their office to stop the PLC from programs meant to reawaken the love and care for the natural environment. Oh, what a backward attitude of life. Whole West is a typical example where some politicians hide behind the scene and use the police and immigration officers to disrupt the environmental education program towards the World Arbor Day and World Desertification Day activities. This has deprived the people of Peje in the Volta region the benefit of tree seedlings meant for arbor planting. The level of ignorance has gripped the general populace to think that it is abnormal for PLC to engage in all forms of nation-building activities. This has kept a lot of our citizens shying away from important things that will portray their dignity. You have succumbed to intimidation and left undone what you ought to do to restore the position you held even before the First World War. Is it not shameful if you refuse to replant your access road as it was in Togoland at the time of the Germans? The simple logic of caring for the natural environment must impress on both the big horn and the simple people to know very well that if Western Togoland has a very good natural vegetation, it is of benefit to the whole world in terms of mitigating the effect of climate change. This is an important aspect of national life which must not be blamed for a later time. I should like to have more time at the Western Togoland Situation Room to encourage the people of Western Togoland and Ghana to embrace the environmental work of the PLC. Thank you. From concerned citizens of Western Togoland. Yeah, this is coming from one of our citizens from Western Togoland. Let me also announce to you that if you send me anything, you don't need to add your name, just like the writer did, just say concerned citizens of Ghana, concerned citizen of Western Togoland, concerned citizen of Nigeria, concerned citizen of America. Wherever you find yourself, you can just write what you want me to read on Situation Room. I think this is one of our followers who have followed the program of PLC to the core, because he did mention a very important program. He mentioned the environmental program that PLC enrolled. He talked about PEJE program that was interrupted by the migration and the police service, the police forces back some years ago. I'm very much aware this is a very young man who knows much about PLC program. Last 2 weeks, I brought Madam Adam Sebafia, who was the organizer for Western Togoland Association of Women in Development. I brought her to the show. She told us about what they have been doing to tell us that it is not only restoration or union with the Ghana that PLC has involved. I brought her to the show and she explained what they have been doing for us. And I'm also working hard to get to get someone that is representing the environmental program for People Liberation Council to also come on the program and tell us about what they have been doing about the environment or the environmental program that they put forth for us to see. But then I have not been successful in that course. I've also been talking to Western Togoland Technological Incubator. I'll be talking to one of their reps. He was actually ready to come. He was prepared. He would like the idea. He welcomed the idea to tell us what they have also been doing. Because I know the PSC have a technological incubator and they have involved in some a little bit activities. And I want that aspect also should be known to the public. But it looked like my dear friend, the timing, his work, where he lives, and the time of the program is not favorable to him. I'm also working now to see if I can get somebody else to replace him. I know about the Western Togoland Agriculture Program, which was initiated by Mr. Divine Odonko, the General Secretary of People's Liberation Council. I know of that program. I know of the beekeeping, which the Western Togolanders are producing honey. For those who are not aware, we have a program, or PSC have issued out a program that people are engaged in beekeeping, that they have been producing honey for sale. In case you don't know, I'm aware of that. I'm also working on one of their reps to come on the show to explain to us. So this writer did a very good job, because I can see very much well that he's much aware of PSC program. I will also be talking about the PSC, the draft. They have a program draft that have to do about Western Togoland sports activities and the culture and a whole lot of issues. So People Liberation Council do not have only one program. And all this program was initiated by one man. He was the backbone behind all this program. Everybody come on this show will be mentioning his name. His name I mentioned to you before is Mr. Divine Okoye Odonko, the General Secretary of People's Liberation Council. And I'm very much happy about that. Please, like I said before, if you have anything that you want me to read, you can also send it to me right now on WhatsApp, and I will read it whilst the program is ongoing. If you want to comment, you can also comment on the program. Go to the Facebook and like the page. If you want to comment, you can comment, and when the time permits me, I will read your comments. On this, I think there was a one point that the writer talked about in this, and I want to point it out. I think I exhausted it. He said, this is why the People Liberation Council of Western Togoland has, among other things, been tirelessly working to educate the public on the importance of managing the environment to the welfare of human beings far and near. I think that it is a laudable idea that we should welcome the noble idea of PSC to engage in environmental work. PSC that I know, they have also been working around to ensure that we keep our environment clean. If our environment are not clean, they are involved in tree planting. If we don't involve in tree planting, talking about the climate change and the stuff like that, our environment that we live is very important. We have to take a very good care of our environment. We do not have to wait until the government come in place to do it for us. We have to be doing things on our own. So this is one of the very good programs the PSC have rolled out. I will get the environment program, one of their rep, their organizers or the executive. I will get one of them these days to come on the show to explain to us what they have been doing as far as the environment is concerned. This tells us that the PSC is not only talking about Western Togoland Union and leave it there. They have also engaged in activities that will empower the people before coming into being the union with Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, with that note, I will take a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll dive into today's program. I will bring my guests on board and we'll talk about the letter sent to UN Secretary General from United Kingdom government. We'll take a short break from now and don't go away. Stay right there.
What it do, my people? It's your boy Kingsley Ego B, aka King the Preacher, aka the Peacemaker, aka the Joy of the People is my peace of mind. You are now watching Trend Africa. Don't touch that dial. If you won't touch her. Come on there. Keep watching Trend Africa. We are here. Africa has come to stay. Don't touch that dial. One love. Keep watching. Ratata.
Thank you. Welcome back from that short commercial break. Ratata. That is my word. My good friend Black Jesus. He gave it that word. Ratata. Yeah. Welcome back to Western Togoland Situation Room, ladies and gentlemen. Let me remind you one more time that this is only where we tell you the best part for you to make your own judgment. This is Western Togoland Situation Room. We don't assume here. We tell you what it is for you to sit behind your screen and make your own judgment. Today we'll be looking at a letter from United Kingdom to United Nations, telling the United Nations that the union between Western Togoland and Ghana has been effected on 6 March 1957, the very day Ghana became independent. This letter was signed by Sir Alan Noble. Ladies and gentlemen, let me first of all welcome my guest to the program. My guest is no other person than Mr. William Girardo, the Vice Chairman of PLC. Mr. Girardo, you are welcome to Western Togoland Situation Room.
Thank you, Seth.
It's a pleasure having you one more time. I had you before, and I am very much happy that I gave you a short notice, but you ran to it. The first program was canceled, and just yesterday that I remind you that our show will come on, and you say, okay, I am ready. Anytime I'll come, and I'm so happy that you did not turn my offer down. First of all, go straight to the point. Today, as I mentioned to you, we'll be talking about a letter sent to United Nations from United Kingdom government, that is the Britain government. I read, there's a letter here says, the future of Western Togoland under British administration. Letter dated 6 March 1957 from the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs in the United Kingdom government to the Secretary General. New York, 6 March 1957. I read, this is the beginning of the letter, the body of the letter itself. In accordance with the third operative paragraph of a United Nations General Assembly resolution of 13 December 1956, resolution 1044 XI, I have the honor to inform Your Excellency on behalf of Her Majesty's government in the United Kingdom that with effect from midnight on 6th and 5th March 1957, under the terms of the Ghana Independence Act, 5th, 6th Elizabeth 2, Chapter 6, the territories previously comprised in the Gold Coast became the independent state of Ghana. Under the same act, the union of the former trust territory of Togoland under British administration with the independent state of Ghana took place with effect from the same time and date. Signed, Alan Noble. The date this letter was signed on 6 March 1957. Mr. Girardo, that is the letter confirming the union. Does this letter mean actually confirm that there's a union between Western Togoland and Ghana?
First of all, I have to thank you again for bringing me to this show. And I thank all my viewers and listeners all over the world, wherever they are. It's an English word says that a revolution reveals the truth. Revolution reveals the truth. So now, this truth about this letter is very legal instrument. This letter is very legal instrument. Confirm the legality of the union between the people of Western Togoland and the independent Ghana today. Because there's no any other legal document we can find anywhere than this letter. As you have said already, you wrote personally to United Nations, this is the only legal document was given to you as a proof that there's a union between people of Western Togoland and independent Ghana. And here we are. We don't have any union, but only a piece of letter informing United Nations that there is a union between these two countries. If you go into Article 1044 from the United Nations gave Britain a lot of instruments or things to do after the plebiscite that our forefathers voted for. Our forefathers voted for this plebiscite for us to be free today. And what do we see? Nothing, only a sham. So I may say this letter is a legal instrument that legalizes our union with Gold Coast or with independent Ghana. So we have to find now where is the union agreement between us. That's a special question we are asking everywhere, and up to now we don't have any answer for it.
Oh, that's a lot. I'm impressed, Mr. Girardo. Thank you so much for that insight. You have said a lot of things. You made it clear that this letter is a legal instrument, and you also made it clear that this letter is the legal instrument. You also said there is no legal documents apart from this letter. I think, and you also make reference to myself that when I got this letter, I wrote to the United Nations. Yes, it is true. I wrote to the United Nations. That's how I got this letter. This letter I personally got it from United Nations. If you are watching Western Togoland Situation Room, you can see the logo of United Nations, and this is from the United Nations. I got it from the United Nations myself. I wrote to the United Nations, and they gave me the letter. And as a matter of fact, I agree with what Mr. Gerardo was saying, that it is a piece of letter informing the UN that the Union of Western Togoland and Ghana is established. But I also did. I asked, after the letter, I wrote back to United Nations and asked, if you have a letter confirming the union, can I have the union agreement? And they don't have it. They came back to me and said they don't have it. It doesn't exist. So it is somehow a little bit, I'm not telling you somebody's story. I am telling you my own story that I wrote personally to the United Nations. So I don't know if a paper can make a union. But that's why Mr. Gerardo is here. Maybe he can confirm if a paper or a writing piece, something on a piece of paper can determine instead that it's a union. Mr. Gerardo, you said a piece of letter informing the UN of the union between WesternTogoland and Ghana.
Yeah.
Looking at it, it looked like there's something missing. What are you expecting? What are your expectations? What do you want to see before you agree that the union actually exists? What do you want to see apart from this letter? What do you want to see?
Mr. Seth.
Yes, sir.
Before I will go into this, first of all, I have to sanitize my mouth very well before any words come out. Number one, our forefathers have voted for the union with Ghana. And I want to make it clear to everyone that's listening to me now that the People's Liberation Council, we are not talking about a separation. We are talking about union. I repeat again. We are not talking about separation. We are talking about union. And I still come back again, where is the union agreement? Because when we talk about the union, we have different type of union. This is political union. It's not a man and woman union. It's about a political union where two states come together to form one thing, to have one goal. As here in Europe, we have European Union, but everyone for itself. But here we are. Our forefathers voted in 1956 for the union. After the voting, the British have made a big mistake, not allowing our forefathers to have their leaders or their government who will represent them together with Gold Coast then or Ghana to sign that agreement. That is the first gambling they play with them. But here we are not blaming anybody. We are not here to blame Ghanaians, neither the British. But the anomalies in the game, we have to make it normal now. Because it's getting too much. When you talk about union, and you are informing the United Nations that the union started from the 6th March 1957, the time and the date, as Gold Coast as independent. And if you read this letter, it's saying that the territories previously comprising the Gold Coast becomes independent state of Ghana. That means Ghana have its own territories, and those territories, Togoland is not one of them. It's very clear. But here we are. We have a lot of elites who try to be blind on this simple English. All that they can say is, it's okay, we are together for a long time, let's move on. But when you have the union agreement, you know your rights and your privileges. Many people will not understand why I'm always stressing on the union agreement. It's just, for example, you went to a supermarket and you have milk, you have sugar, you have coffee, you have everything that you wanted to buy. At long last, you will paid and you'll be given a receipt. Our forefathers have done all these things, but the receipt was not given to them. So you can be arrested on your way going home and say, Mister, what is your receipt? And you cannot prove your receipt, so they will take you like a thief. Here we are, we're in a mixed road, together with independent Ghana today. That's why I've already said that the only legal document we have is that piece of letter. That makes our union legal. We can stand on that and prove it, that even United Nations was informed that the union between, under the same act of the union of the former trans territory of Togoland and the British administration with the independent state of Ghana took place with effect from the same time and date. We know the date, 6 March 1957, and we know the time after the midnight of 5th to 6th. If we have a union, then we'll know how we'll live together, how we'll stay together, how we'll do our things together. Here we are, we don't have it. So this generation of the day, we want to see it. And if there is none, let's sit down like brothers, like educated people, people who don't want any fight, and write one. But here we are. So far as the first president of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, have built that country on insincerity, is the problem of that country today, and we are seeing it, and we are going through it, and it's facing us, and still no one is ready to talk about this. But I hope the good people of Ghana and the good people of Togoland will understand and say, enough is enough. What the people want is the agreement. If the agreement is there, they will know their rights and their privileges. Ghana will know its right and its privileges. Then we'll work together like brothers.
Thank you, Mr. Girardo. You've taken my breath. I was just watching and listening to you because you are giving me more insight. In fact, this is a very detailed insight that Mr. Girardo is giving to us, and I am blessed to have you on my show. You made it clear that there was no government at the time of the letter. Said the time that they are making the union, there was no government to represent the interests of Western Togoland. You said that was the first government. I like that word. That was the first government. I was wondering, if there is no government to represent the interests of Western Togoland, how do you form the union? Mr. Girardo also made it clear that this is a political union, and it's a union between two countries. And then he made it clear that according to the letter, he read the letter again. He also said, and I have it here, he said, I want to read the same thing you read from the letter. He said that the territories previously comprised in the Gold Coast became the independent state of Ghana under the same act. The union of the former trust territory of Togoland under British administration with the independent state of Ghana took place with effect from the same time and date. And you said after quoting those lines, you said clearly that this means that Ghana is separate from Western Togoland, that the territory that comprise in the Gold Coast are separate, are different from Western Togoland. That means Western Togoland is not part or is not one of the territories comprised in the Gold Coast. That was clear by Mr. Girardo. He made that clear That means we are Western Togoland and Ghana are two states coming together to form a union. And like you said, the first gambling is still rumbling in my head. The first gambling was that Western Togolanders was robbed of having government to represent their interests. So if you are making a union for two countries, both sides must be equal. How do they become equal? By having a government for both sides. And we all know very well, like Mr. Gerardo put it, the gambling. Don't forget the word, the first gambling. I will always remember that word. The first gambling. Gold Coast was having a government. Gold Coast have a government, they have a parliament, they have everything, they have their own laws. They were ruling themselves at the time. You remember the 1954 constitution of the Gold Coast. We have that in mind and all that. And so Gold Coast assumed their own responsibility long before 1957. But Western Togoland, don't forget the word, first gambling. They were robbed of having a government. But the question I want Mr. Gerardo to ask is that since there is no a union between Western Togoland and Ghana, how do Western Togolanders become Ghanaians? How do we say they are Ghanaians? I will come back that you answer that question. I want to take a few messages from our viewers. They've given me a few messages I want to read whilst you ponder over that question. This is from Toby Blanco. Congratulations, Mr. Mifetu. This is Amadume Gribel. Gribel Amadume. He said, "Good evening, and God bless you. I'm watching you from Kumasi, Ghana. This is Tetevia Simon. They have been arresting us. They have been arresting us when we say something about Western Togoland. What can we do, please?" That's a big question from Mr. Tetevia Simon. And this is coming from Joshua Edem Dushi, watching from Cantonment. And this is Tetevia Simon again. But Ghanaian leaders are saying nothing like Western Togoland or union between. I think he did not finish and then the thing came up. Okay, so let the other messages come and I will read. This is so far. I've seen that someone has sent me a message to my WhatsApp, and I would like Mr. Gerardo to tell us how Western Togolanders become Ghanaians. Then I will go to my WhatsApp page and read that message. That's a very long message that I received on my WhatsApp page. Mr. Gerardo.
Western Togolanders to become Ghanaian is something that I cannot say it. United Nations has already decided what the British have to do together with Togolanders and Ghana, and independent Ghana. And when you go to Article 1044, they are there. Let me tell you one thing. If you can go back into history, on the 4th March 1957, Kwame Nkrumah and his colonial master, the British, were sent the military to Kpando, Alavanyo, all those places to crash or to fight for our great-grandfathers. Number one, when you read this document here, the document is saying that from 6 March, we are in union. And the military was sent there on the 4th March because our forefather was asking for the union. So number one, the Ghana or the Gold Coast then have crossed border to different countries to fight them. On their own land because they are asking for their rights. And we can see it today as well. It's still going on. But we are not talking about that. The only thing is, let's do how the law says. how the proposition says, Article 1044. Then from there, Article 1044, we can carry on and see how we become Ghanaians.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gerardo. I am so happy for that clarification. But one word that you said is catching my mind. You said our forefathers were asking for the union. Why are they asking for the union? Did they ask for the union, or did how? Why are they asking for the union? Did they ask for it? How?
You know, but then there was so many agitation on the ground. When you go into history, even Dr. Obeda Samuel's book have said it. That so many agitation was going on. People were arrested, taken to prison because they want to know they are right from the wrong. And
Sure.
Kwame Nkrumah, that's why I always says Kwame Nkrumah built Ghana on sincerity. Here are the things, or here are some of them. The insincerity, here is it. That you can say black is white and white is black, here is it. Because if the union foundations have been formed, the fundamentals will not expose them today.
Yeah, in fact, when you say the union has been established by this letter, you say the union has been established and the fundamentals are not working, you'll be exposed. Thank you so much. This is coming from a Western Togoland that I can see this on my WhatsApp page. It says the letter from Alan Nombo is an assumption that the union begins at the same time and date of the independence of Ghana. But that assumption cannot be a conclusion that any kind of relationship between Western Togolanders and Ghanaians is acceptable within the proposed union. We are all witnesses to a lot of human rights abuses and oppression at official and private circles in Ghana. We are aware of a serious mismanagement of the proposed union since the independence of Ghana. We do not want to dwell on the bitter past. I like that statement. I repeat, we do not want to dwell on the bitter past. That is why we are advocating for a review in order to be conscious of whatever we do to our neighbors in this union. The PLC wants Ghana and Western Togoland to prove to the world that even if Britain made a mistake and the UN was blind to it too, we are capable of forging nobility without any foreign intervention. We are therefore appealing to the citizens of Western Togoland as well as the Ghanaian authorities that they should not portray us as incapable of managing our own affairs in this 21st century. This is coming from one of Western Togolanders in Western Togoland. Yes, short. This is concerned citizens of Western Togoland. This is coming from someone who have been following the footsteps of PLC and be following the request for the union. The person have talked about the human rights abuses that we have witnessed in Ghana. He talked about we do not want to dwell in the bitter experience that is past and gone. We don't want to remind ourselves of the crash at the Pando and the other big town by Kwame Nkrumah and British forces when the people of Western Togoland demanded what is right for them, what is due for them, because they actually voted for a union and they did not see that union. That's what Mr. Gerardo was explaining, that the people were supposed to be in union and the union was not formed and they were asking for the union. And when they were heading towards independence, Kwame Nkrumah and Britain sent forces to crush them, people who were agitating for their right, because they vote for it. They actually voted for it, and the United Nations spent time and money to see that Western Togoland voted to determine their own political future. And that future was the union that they chose during the 1956 plebiscite. And that union have to be respected. And I thought those who were fighting at the time, who were agitating at the time, were just asking for a just cause. But that is why, if the union is established, like Mr. Girardo put it, if the union is established, the fundamentals will be strong, and the fundamentals and the agitation today will not be exposing whoever said the union has been established. So I think the union has not been established. Mr. Girardo, back to you. What else do you want to tell our beautiful audience?
Number one, I will repeat it again. We, the people of PLC, we are not talking about separation. We are not trying to take any part of Ghana away from Ghana. When you read this letter, it's showing that those are the territories of Gold Coast becomes Ghana and the Togoland. So Togoland is not a part. Togoland is not a part of Gold Coast then, which become the independent Ghana. We have to draw that straight line. Should be clear to every one of us. Then the letter continues to say, the union also between the former trust territory of Togoland and the British administration and Ghana, independent Ghana, took place. So here we have two territories. So when we are talking about Togoland, I want to beg, or I want to put it straight to everyone listening to me, those who don't know the history, that we are not in to take a part of Ghana away. Our forefathers have voted for the union, and we want to see the union established so that we both will live in harmony. Because this matter of union started even before independence of Ghana. How many years now? And it's still going on. And it will go on unabatedly until the agreement will be signed. Otherwise, it will not stop. Next generation will come. They will continue. Another one will come. Will continue. Today, we are talking to understand each other very well. But what will happen in the next 10, 15 years to come? Who knows? It's very simple, like what John the Baptist says. I'm here to baptize you people with water, but somebody will come and baptize you with fire and the Holy Spirit. So today we are talking with understanding so that we can come together and understand each other so that we live in harmony and create a better place for our children to come. Ghana will know its rights, we will know our rights and privileges, then we carry on from there. We are not a socialist group that they have been saying. We are not one of them. Not at all. We just want to know our rights and privileges. If you are in union, then I want to know my right. This is political union. I know everybody or everyone knows about political union. You know your rights and your privileges. And here we are, we have just a letter that we are in union and we don't see the movement of the union.
Thank you, Mr. Girardo. That's a very good one there. And if there's a union, it is clear that Western Togolanders need to know their rights and privileges under the union. That is very clear. It's a good message. And I like that. If John the Baptist, he says, I would baptize you with water, but somebody will come and baptize you with fire. I'm hoping that somebody will baptize me with ice water, not fire. Thank you so much, Mr. Girardo, for that clarification. Before I come back to you, I'll read two messages and I'll come back to you. When I come back to you, I just want you to tell me if there is anything in this letter you want to point out or you want to explain before you take your leave of us. So you think about that once I read a few messages, two messages from our viewers. I think I have this from Tetevia Simon. He said, democracy is not working in Ghana. What do we do, or what can we do? And this is coming for Togbi Blemgo. He said, let's call a spade a spade. Kwame Nkrumah invaded Western Togoland while the British close their eyes to this uncivilized act. But Western Togolanders are faithful to the letter. He continues, he says, they voted for union and we must stand for it now. I think the Western Togolanders have done very good job in terms of standing for the union. If you look at back in the days, even in the days of Kwame Nkrumah, people stood for the union, and some people were crushed by Kwame Nkrumah forces and Britain forces. And that is what Toby Blango was actually referring to, that Kwame Nkrumah invaded Western Togoland. Mr. Girardo also did mention a few crushes here and there. We all know, those of us who have taken our time to study the history very well, we all know how Kwame Nkrumah crushed the Western Togolanders who was asking for the union to be established, because they were saying of union, you issue a white paper reducing the whole country called Western Togoland into a region, and they said that is not acceptable, and they demanded that the union is established. That is how they were also agitating that they are going to boycott the first independence celebration of Ghana. That is how Kwame Nkrumah got angry and invaded Western Togoland. If I am allowed to use Toby Bengo's word, invasion, but invaded Western Togoland and crushed the people who were actually demanding for the union. You see, we talk about Pando, Nkunya, and other big towns. What do you call it? This famous town in the Volta region. When I remember, I'll let you know. Amfuega, yeah, that's the name. Amfuega, I quite remember where Mr. Nuba was chased out to go on exile in the nearby Togo, and other chiefs were also chased out because of the forces. Many of our people ran to Togo, which is the sister country, Republic of Togo today, ruled by Yadema. They ran to there for their own safety, and then they stayed there for so many years before return. Some didn't return, they stayed there and died. Those who returned, they become weak and very old and stuff like that. So, but the agitation for union did not end there. Even all that Kwame Nkrumah did, agitation did not end. Don't forget the Preventive Detective Act of Kwame Nkrumah also sent some of our Western Togolander agitated to exile. They flew the country to exile. Some were arrested under the same act, and he was in prison under Kwame Nkrumah. But the agitation did not stop there. You remember at Champo time, where I.B. Bauer and co rose up. They also rose up and said that the Western Togoland have to be liberated. Western Togoland have to be restored at the time. They rose up, and agitation went on. Achapo came out with a decree to criminalize Western Togoland and stuff here and there. That is why today Ghana is trying to use the decree, Supreme Military Council Decree 20 of 1976 today. And we are saying that we are under the constitutional dispensation. How on earth do we go back and take a decree and to try our own people if Ghana is considering Western Togolanders as part of their citizen or part of their country? How do we use decree on them? Why we don't use decree on other people? This is also a violation of human rights. It is also a slap in the face of International Declaration of Human Rights. And Ghana is a signatory to that treaty. And we need to talk about that very well, because when it comes to international law and talk about Ghana, Ghana is a golden boy, because the International Declaration of Human Rights, Ghana is a signatory to that, and using a decree today is a slap to that same law. And we need that human right. We need to talk about it and let people of Western Togoland feel comfortable wherever they are. They need to know their rights and privileges under the union. That is what Mr. Girardo is telling us. If there is a union, there should be agreement. The agreement should spell out the rights and privileges in the union, so that everybody will know what makes them a Ghanaian. The actual fact, what makes the people Ghanaian is the union. Without the union, how do Western Togoland became Ghanaians? I don't know. But since I don't have any message to read, I will ask Mr. Girardo if he have any message or anything concerning the letter that Alan Noble wrote. If you want to clarify something before he take a leave of our audience.
Yeah,
Mr. Girardi.
I have only one word here again. I want to stress on.
Okay.
The word I want to stress on is union. You know, as you can see this document, how to vote. And we have the hand and we have the sun. And it shows them to vote for the union or to wait. But our forefathers voted for the union. And we will continue asking for the union agreement because we cannot go back and vote again. Number two, United Nations have spent so many thousands of pounds sterling to make this clear for us, the way clear, the foundation for us. Let's build on this foundation. Let's make good use of this foundation union between these two countries so that we create a better future for our next generation to come. That's the only thing I have to tell the Western Togolanders and the Ghanaian government too. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Girardo. Thank you so much for coming to the show. That is Mr. Girardo for you. He said our forefathers voted for the union and we need to make it clear. And as you see, before I bring the curtains to an end, you can see very clear that the letter I read to you from Alan Noble is just an assumption, something on paper. It does not make a union. Before the letter is part of the step given to the United Kingdom to take to bring about the union. That was the resolution 1044 SI. If you look at the letter, it did make a reference to resolution 1044. He said, I read from the letter. He said, in accordance with the third operative paragraph of a United Nations General Assembly resolution of 13th December 1956, resolution 1044 SI. So I have with me the resolution 1044 SI. This is the resolution that is referring to, and that resolution was adopted in 13th December 1956 after the plebiscite, where the people of Western Togoland chose the union, as Mr. Girardo said it. They said they cannot wait, so they chose the union. So when they chose the union, United Nations, in their own wisdom or in its own wisdom, realized that voting alone, the plebiscite alone, does not bring about the union. So United Nations came up with a resolution 1044 SI and said, take such steps to bring about the union. And all the steps were not taken. Well, one of the steps was just taken. That one step, this letter is Alan Noble's letter, is just one of the steps. The letter is that after all the steps are taken and you brought about the union, you have to write to the Secretary General of the United Nations, informing the Secretary General that the union has been established. Yes, that is the letter showing that the union has been established. But where is the other steps? There is nothing like in the other step. Britain is also asked or given the task to make sure that Western Togoland have a government. And that Mr. Girardo was very clear about that. He said that was the first gambling. Like I said, I won't forget that word. That was the first gambling. That Western Togolanders do not have a government. So it's one of the steps that the British have to take to make sure that he bring about Western Togoland having a government. When the Western Togoland have a government, then that government will represent the interest of the Western Togolanders. So where is the government of Western Togoland at the time the letter is telling us that they have established a union? How can you establish a union among two unequal countries? I have never heard that before, that a union can be established between two unequal countries. It has never happened. And before then, there was nowhere in any document or in the history that there have been a constitutional conference between Western Togolanders and Ghanaians. When there will be a union, there must first of all be a constitutional conference. This is where a union constitution will be adopted. So another step is the union constitution. The union constitution is what gives the legal backing to the union. There is no union constitution. So how do you say that the union is effective? If it's effective with our mouth, The union is effected on paper alone. You sit in your room and you write a letter and say the union has been effected, and you have no document to show, you have no agreement. One of the steps is to have a union agreement, which will spell out the terms and references of the union. That is what Mr. Girardo was referring to as they must know their rights and privileges under the union. But because that thing is not done, the union agreement was not written. We do not have the term and references of the union. So how do we bring about the union? All these things have to be done before the union is brought forth, or before anyone can talk about the union existing. So all these things is not done. There are other steps that the British supposed to take that they are not taking it. And the United Nations have kept quiet on the steps but they have started the letter anyway that the union is effected. But I don't know if truly the union is effected, because I can tell you with my words that the union between Western Togoland and Ghana is just an assumption. It does not exist. And Mr. Girardo will use the word and say sham union. Just a sham. It's a sham union. And we are in the 21st century. This is not a laughing matter. If you see me laughing, I'm just trying to make it very clear so that people will not take this, in the other way around. And then Mr. Girardo made it clear that People Liberation Council of Western Togoland are not asking to break away from Ghana. They are only asking that all the necessary steps, all the steps that Britain refused to take, Ghana and Western Togoland should be in position to take that step now. They should be capable. They should be people who are willing to take that steps. We should take that step and bring about the union. We should make the union now. It is only the union that make us Ghanaians, that make the people of Western Togoland Ghanaians. If you ask yourself, if you are Ghanaian, are you a Ghanaian? Today, people can look into your face and point to you and say, you are not Ghanaian. You are not this, you are not that. Yes, you are not Ghanaian. You claim to be a Western Togolander because your forefather voted to be in union with Ghana and the union is not established. So why do you partake in the fruit of Ghanaians? You see, so we should have that established. People were talking about Western Togoland. Western Togoland, like somebody wrote on the message, it says Ghanaians are saying that nothing like that exists. Yes, and the size of Western Togoland, people say it does not matter here. Once the people voted, if it is a 1 square mile, because they were not integrated into Ghana, because they are not supposed to be annexed, because they were trust territory, it doesn't matter the size. If it is 1 square mile, it's fine. It is accepted that these people are unique people, they are different, they are not part of you. And they voted to be in union with you. They did not vote to be integrated. The vote is not for integration, but it's for union. So I think that the union have to be bring about. We have to work on it. We are appealing to Ghana government and the people of Western Togoland to accept this noble offer so that we can work on the union and come up with a peaceful union so that Ghana and Western Togoland can have a peaceful union and to be a beacon of democracy so that we'll be emulated by other countries. We can do a better job. We have come a long way. We are more mature. We are educated. We have more elite in our country, people who are ready to do the right thing. Let us focus and do the right thing. On this note, I do not have any messages from my viewers. I will spare the reading of the message and I will bring the program to an end. Before then, I want to urge everyone, thank you for tuning in and watching Western Togoland Situation Room. I thank Mr. Girardo for coming all the way from where he live his work and come today and share with us and made it clear that the union between Western Togoland and Ghana was just an assumption. It was just a sham. It was just something on paper, but nothing else exists. Nothing else shows that the union exists. The union is not working. And if it does, the fundamental will not be exposing you because the union is not existed. That's what the fundamentals are exposing whoever claimed that the union has been existed. Let's work towards it. I thank you for tuning in for today's edition. Thank you, lovely people. I'll come your way next week as we talk about some other issue concerning Western Togoland. I leave you with a wonderful day. Have a good day. Thank you so much.
To advertise with us, donate sponsorships and suggestions, email us at trendafricatv@gmail.com or call us on 773-312-0318 or 773-756-6678. Remember to also follow and like us as Trend Africa TV on Facebook so you can always catch us live. On Instagram as Trend Africa TV 123 or subscribe to our YouTube channel as Trend Africa TV and click on the notification button to watch previous shows. You can also visit our website for your African news, entertainment, fashion and sports updates on www.trendafricaonline.net. Trend Africa TV, redefining